In the Tribune Tower is Brunell Donald-Kyei, a Chicago area attorney, vice chair of outreach at the National Diversity Coalition for Donald Trump. No stranger to politics. She once ran for lieutenant governor along with Theo Hardeman years ago. And Brunell, it's nice to see you again.
God bless you and God bless America. Thanks for having me.
And I thank you. Now, when you're talking about diversity, of course, one of Trump's weaknesses is his success rates with African Americans, with Latinos, and part of it has to do with the message that comes out of his mouth throughout the course of this campaign. Mexicans are murderers and rapists, and look at that African American over there, and all that kind of stuff. You forgive him all of that.
You know what I'm thinking about is this. Our country is in trouble. Our inner cities, the bodies are piling up at the morgue. We've got our young black men and Latino men filling up the prisons. And what Donald Trump is saying is, look, I've got $100 billion that I want to put into the inner cities over the next 8 years. Not only that, I want to add school choice to the mix. So the inner city youth, whether you're poor, whether you're black, whether you're Latino, white, whatever, that you can get the best education. And so that's the message that's important to me. Not only that, he's going to protect our Second Amendment rights. He's going to put conservative justices on the Supreme Court. He's going to build that wall to protect Americans and our jobs. And also he's going to fight radical Islamic terrorists. Donald Trump and I agree on the issues. We may not have the, personalities that agree, but with respect to where the nation is going and the direction it's going, I'm in agreement with him. The nation is not going in the right direction.
So now you do identify more with Democrats, right? And my understanding is you've always voted for.
I am a Democrat. I am a registered Democrat. I voted for my president, Barack Obama, 2 times. I voted for him when he said we were going to bring hope and change. And yes, we can. And no, we didn't. The jobs didn't come. The improvement in communities didn't come.
Now, wait
the
a
better
minute.
schools didn't come.
Brunell,
that's the Democratic Party.
There has been an increase in job growth every month since he's taken the presidency. Things aren't where they need to be, certainly, but there's been an increase in jobs that you didn't have that under the previous president's days.
I'll tell you this, nobody's feeling it on the ground. I'm in the courtrooms, I'm in the city all the time, and when you go out in our inner cities, they're hopeless, they're broken, they feel like they've been left behind, like we, the people, keep voting for failure, keep voting for the same thing, expecting a different outcome. Our young people are hurting, they're hopeless. Remember, I ran for lieutenant governor. I shook the hands of the hopeless. I shook the hands of those who believe that we have forgotten about them. So what I decided to do after we lost, after Theo and I lost, I said if I ever saw a candidate that I think could help the inner cities, that would bring jobs and economic change, I would get behind that candidate and I would war. And Donald Trump is the one saying, hey, I'm going to put $100 billion in the inner city. No Republican has ever stepped forward and said any such thing about the inner city. You know that. We all know that. I'm going to vote for change.
And I'm not sure where Trump's getting the dollars that you're saying he's talking about. Look, even his tax plan.
I can tell you where he's getting it from.
I will let you say that, but I just want to add on that even his tax plan, Republican analysts have said, will send our economy $10 trillion into debt. The economic plan, according to Republicans, is going to be disastrous. So with that, you're welcome to tell us where the money's coming from.
I'll tell you this. Let me tell you something. With the Republican Party, you got to remember, Donald Trump is not just running against Democratic establishment. He's running against Republican establishment. And so, I would expect for them to try to tank anything that he's saying because they want to continue to make money off the backs of the people. Now, what Donald Trump said is, look, all of that money we're sending for global changing and warming, what I'm going to do is take that $100 million that we're sending over for United Nations, that $100 billion, and I'm going to put that into the inner cities. That's important. Not only that, he's saying, look, all of those jobs that are overseas, that our jobs went, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that business tax, break it down from 35% to 15%, and I'm going to bring that $2 to $5 trillion that's overseas home, and I'm going to put that into America. That's what we need. We need a president that's going to do fresh things, that have great ideas. Hillary Clinton's been in office as a politician. She's been a politician for over 30 years, and she's been making all kind of broken promises, always making promises, but no changes.
Well, Hillary Clinton's not been president.
We got to do better.
Hillary Clinton's not been president. So do you sort of dismiss the fact that all but 3 newspapers in the country, and those are small newspapers, either did not endorse Trump, none of them did, my point being, or they warned the country as him being dangerous? USA Today say, we'll make no endorsement, never have, but don't vote for that guy. You have world leaders who apparently, according to the president, have called and said, what is going on in this country? Does it not bother you at all that on the world stage you have a candidate who clearly does not seem to understand world issues, thinks Putin is a great guy who's trying to apparently undermine our system. Does all of that get dismissed in your analysis?
No, what I'll tell you is this: the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's what Russia is. They're the enemy to these Islamic terrorists who are killing and maiming all across the world.
They also kill their own journalists. They also kill their own journalists. If you disagree with them,
yes, but what I'm saying is I don't want them in my country. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not in agreement with 550% increase in Syrian refugees coming here. Look at what's going on in Germany. Look at what's going on in different countries that these migrants have gone to. And what Donald Trump is saying is, look, America first. I'm going to stand up for Americans. Hillary Clinton's a globalist. She cares about the world. I need a president in office that cares about me, whether I'm black, white, Hispanic, Arab. I need a president that's concerned about the United States. We've got veterans. We've got veterans committing suicide, 22 of them a day. We got inner city children filling up the morgues in the penitentiary. We've got poor whites, poor people in our own country. We can't afford to keep sending billions overseas. That doesn't make any sense.
Brunell, what has Donald Trump done to suggest that he actually, in his life, that he cares about these issues? You know, he promotes stop and frisk, and I know stop and frisk goes on anyway, but he sees...
You know it's in Chicago like crazy.
I know it does, and you know it is. But what I'm saying is this is what he promotes. Hillary Clinton talks about opening up a dialogue between police and African-American communities. I mean, everything he says is about you know, it's all action. We're going to bomb ISIS. I like nuclear weapons. All this kind of stuff. Does none of that bother you? His issue on abortion, he thinks women who have abortions should go to jail. To be punished.
What concerns me is this: I don't get emotional about things. What I am concerned about are the issues: the Supreme Court justice, the Second Amendment, tougher immigration laws, NAFTA deal restructured. I'm concerned about school choice. I'm concerned about jobs to the inner cities. I don't get emotional with cold words like racist and things like that. With respect to Hillary Clinton, when you look at her mentor, Robert Byrd, he was a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Well, now, I don't know.
So the Democratic Party cannot tell me anything about Hillary Clinton not being a racist.
I'm not so sure Hillary Clinton would describe Robert Byrd as her mentor, but
I'm sure she would, but he was.
Well, okay, so he did have a history with KKK, but the KKK, by the way, is endorsing Donald Trump. They got him on the front page of his
Hillary Clinton in California too,
they're endorsing Trump all over the country. David Duke loves the guy. Donald Trump, when asked to repudiate it, does now, but back then said, hey, well, I don't know who David Duke is. You know he was lying.
Farrakhan is endorsing Donald Trump as well. So let me tell you something. That's another thing that's driving me crazy. Are not the black nationalists and Ku Klux Klansmen Americans? Isn't he going to be their president too?
I don't know.
So that's the thing. I mean, yes, he is. If we're all Americans, whether you like him, whether you would like what they espouse, they're Americans, and he will be their president. And so what I think people need to do is get out of their emotions about voting and start thinking about the nation.
Almost out of time. You hear these reports that he doesn't pay his contractors, that he has illegal workers working on his building, that his products all get made overseas, including the steel in the buildings come from China. This is the man you're saying is Mr. America over here. It's just not in the proof of the pudding of what he does for a living.
What I'll tell you is this: there are a lot of business people who are overseas making their products that would love to come home. Donald Trump has done business with those people over 40 years. And what he's saying is, those people want to come home. Let me bring them home. I'm going to bring that 35% tax down to 15%. We're going to bring that $2 to $5 trillion from overseas, and we're going to put Americans back to work. That's good business. The politicians have ran our economy into the ground. People are telling me, oh, about all these numbers, everything's going up. Nobody on the ground is feeling it. People want something they can feel, not something they can see. And that is what Donald Trump is saying. Look, let me help you feel me. $100 billion over 8 years into the inner cities. A man who took $1 million from his father and turned it into $8.7 billion. That's the person we need in office. A builder, a doer, not a person that's just going to make promises and then break our hearts in 4 years.
And don't forget about the 4 bankruptcies. Brunell Donald-Kyei, thanks for being with me. You defend your candidate. I give you credit for that. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I have to. That's the next president of the United States. Landslide victory Tuesday. You heard it here.
We did hear it. We're going to see what happens on Tuesday. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
God bless you.
You too. We're going to take
Make America great again. Make America great again. Make America great again. Great again.